welcome back to PyraPOD. This is Aubrey. I like to present something we did this morning. When we say we, I mean Richard Nelson and Yang and I. This morning, and today we happen to have Gary join in. He's interested in converting organic matter into biogas. So basically, we today our session is mainly for the biodigester. So it's just we gave two versions. One is cylindrical, one is cubic, right? And then but before we do that, we also add a layer to my backyard build, right? DIY build. So I'd like to introduce both. So let's start with the first one. The adding of the platform, right? And then we talk about the biodigester. Okay. So let's move to the entrance. So this is the entrance of my PyraPOD4 G17 Grande-17. For those who already familiar with my design, you probably notice one thing, that is the door is now rectangular, right? Before there's it's a arc top, right? In fact, we made this change just for custom build here, right? If you to build a rectangular door is easier, faster, right? But since I'm letting the China factory to handle my covering system, and they are actually also making PyraPOD4 to mass produce, right? Making the first one, and then after that, that'll be mass produced product. So, and they make everything together, the door, the fabric, the structure, everything, design, and then well, they do it according to our design, and then come up with all the commercial product, right? So for that reason, they will consider, they still like the idea of outdoor, so they're thinking of making the door for me, right? And then sand together with the cover, right? Or they can basically because since they have to make it anyway, right? So I could get benefit from their effort. So for that reason, could be the real finishing door could be arc on the top, right? But I want to just show you the entrance. So what we did, we add a platform. You see here, it's slightly above, taller than a person, standing there. So so that means you can still walk around below the platform. By the way, I'm short, right? And so for sure, I won't have problem walking around underneath the platform, and then we put the ladder, and this time the ladder will be, once we put it there, we'll just secure it there, right? So it won't, I don't have to move around. So when I enter into this greenhouse, basically I have a choice of either going around and do something on the ground, or just use the ladder to get to the this platform, right? So I can then stand on this platform and work, attend the grow bed on this level, right? And also I could have a hanging garden, either hanging gutter grow bed, just slightly, maybe even either slightly below, right? So slightly below the added platform, so I can still stand here and get things managed. And so yeah, that's something. Or we'll see, or I could make it slightly higher, this way, when I can pull out and then place on the platform to to do something, right? So we'll see. Whatever I do, I just make it simple and easy to work with. So that's what we did first, to because Richard's concerned about my safety working on here. So we added this platform, and this platform happened to be similar to Gary's greenhouse covering, right? But just only difference, he's is 2 feet apart, because he got the swimming pool underneath, right? So but I need more room on the ground floor, so it's 2 feet, about 2 feet. So anyway, so that's that. And also, in order for me to get onto the platform, we need to do something to the shelf, at the entrance, above the entrance. So this is it. So I'm just quickly, zoom in, into this structure. Now we are breaking the first level, first layer of fabric, and then the second layer of fabric. Now we're completely inside and see things clearly. So because this is vertically there's a gap, but if you if you look from top or bottom, actually this beam line up with the bottom one. So anyway, because of that, we need this part to be open, to be able to open, right? So when I climb the ladder, then I just simply use a hand to push it up, right? And then secure it, or just hold it with hand, and then just coming up, and then once I'm on the platform, I can just simply close it, right? It's like a trap door, like the attic door, but it's with hinges, right? This way I can open and close. There will be a mechanism, so it just when I close, right, it just stop, right? It stop. So that can be done very easily. And so and for that matter, I probably need also the the bracing. The bracing. So we need a 45 bracing here and 45 bracing over there. So the door actually should be in the center, the center. Okay, so that's that. And this way it's safe to work on the platform and attend the grow bed around, right? And then come to the biodigester, right? Biodigester. So this is what we did. Basically for convenience, or for people's preference, or according to whatever material you have, right? We gave two versions. One is the cubic, like, one is the cylindrical shape, right? The cylindrical shape actually probably easier to build, and because we have rim barrel, right? By the way, this is not theory. This is something that Richard Nelson came up with a long time ago. And he even tested himself. So, and he told me that in 1992 he was recommended by Canadian National Research Council to NASA because NASA space program, they are thinking how to take care of the life of man in space, right? So there's a lot of practical matters to be concerned. For example, the human waste, the urine, the organic waste, right? Because all those things can be recycled, because in nature, the nature recycle everything, right? So so they call out, they invite all those famous scientists, and inventors, right, to come to NASA to give them advice, right, to help them to come up with a better solution, cheaper way actually to do things, right? So for that matter, Richard Nelson was invited quite a few times. He couldn't recall exactly, but he said about 4 or 6 times, and while he was there, he talked to other scientists, other inventors. Have wonderful time there, but he was there because of the SolaRoof, right? Because of the SolaRoof, because he's the only one who came up with this uh, technology, SolaRoof technology, to use solar energy, but use bubbles, liquid bubbles to collect and store solar energy, right? Because bubbles insulate well. So for that matter, you have to insulate the building in order to keep the collected solar energy inside, right? Um, he came up with the idea of a biodigester at that time, and then he tested himself, right? And so today we bring this up again because we discuss other ways to turn organic matter into good use, but certain things like the black soldier larva, black soldier fly larva, right? 就是the black soldier fly larva. That's one possibility, which is very good actually. But to normal people in Western countries, still it's a big challenge for them to take psychologically, right? Because people don't like to have human waste, end up, with the food system, right? So so we brought this. We think that it's the time to bring back this biodigester back into the drawing board, and then to show that what it is, how simple it is, right? Basically, it's a compost, it's a compost bin, but the compost bin with a better design, right? Because the open air compost bin, the problem is, the compost tend to get dry, right? Uh, so and you need to water them, right? And sometimes lots of water, even because some compost pile can even catch fire, right? If you don't, lower down the temperature. So for that matter, if we put the organic matter in a contained, sealed environment, and then you give some water to start with, right? But once the process get going, it will generate its own water, right? Because there's water in organic material, right? So for that reason, you save lots of water. You don't need a lot of water to start with, and it's pretty simple, right? For example, we just use this cylindrical design. So basically, it's a container. It's a rounded container with a cap. Basically, it's inverted container, And yeah, so so the bottom basically it's a cap, right? You can consider using a cap, slightly higher, right? Because depends, right? Depends on how much water, yeah, you can collect, yeah. So so basically the shell is simply a container with a cap, right? Inverted, and then the liquid going get collected at the bottom, and the air gather on the top, right? For that matter, we have two valves, right? One is a pressure release valve, right? When the pressure is too high, and then there's a way to release it. And then also there's just a valve control, right? Basically you can use to this to get the gas out, right? Either use it directly for cooking, or so for that matter you can put your kitchen in the in the greenhouse in PyraPOD, right? And also you can transfer the biogas into a storage tank, right? So that's what it is. And so that's the shell. The inside is also very simple. It's just two containers, cylindrical containers made. The bottom one, you can see the line here. The bottom, basically, it's a inverted. It's just a, and placed on the surface, right? And so to as a support, and also allow liquid to drain through, right? So that's the idea. To provide some gap, right? Yeah, between the biomass and the bottom water, right? The water collected at the bottom. So and then the top part is simply upright, cylindrical container. It's we made of wire mesh, right? And so it's so things can the air can get in easily, and then liquid can flow out easily. So very simple, yeah. But everything is contained, sealed, and sealed by liquid actually. So so yeah, you don't need to make the cap very tight, because actually when you put this thing upside down, insert it into this bottom cap, portion, and then because there's water inside, so the water automatically seal the gap, right? So nothing can escape, right? And yeah, definitely you may need some way to hold it, or even use some latch. There's some kind of a latch system, so you can temporarily lock it, and then when you need to open, then you can right, you can flip, and then then pull this thing out, right? So something like this, you don't have to be big. This doesn't have to be big, so you have to consider how much biomass you can collect in 1 week, because in 1 week you can convert the whole thing, the whole process is finished, right? So you can, for that you can calculate, right, how much biomass you can produce each week, right? And then use that as a guide to make the whatever size that fit the need. Yeah. So yes, as simple as that. And yeah, yeah, there's many other things, safety feature can be yeah, built in. Yeah, it's not something very hard. It's it's yeah, we have come to this stage. It's very easy to handle this. Yeah. And yeah, that's it. But there is one issue is the associated with the open air compost bin. It's the it's because of open air, so the top portion it tends to be very dry, right? When it's dry, the bacteria will die, right? So for that matter, see, we simply put the pump, right, and a pipe, right, and then a timer, or some kind of a switch, to control, as once the water reaching a certain level, then simply turn on the pump, and then the pump bring the water to the top, and then use a nozzle to spray the top, right, make the top wet. So this way we recycle the water. We don't need to introduce new water. We simply use the compost tea at the bottom to wet the whole thing again, so the bacteria can survive, right? Yeah, same thing with the same thing with the cubic thing. If you happen to have some container that's resemble this shape, has the and you can build this thing easy, then you can do it this way also. But we think the cylindrical is easier to make, and also stronger as far as the pressure, pressurized strength, right? So that's it. Very simple. You can place this inside the greenhouse so that you get the right type of temperature, and then you get the convenience of throwing organic waste into this container, and then the biogas can be you can use a line to feed to a storage tank. The storage tank can be outside, in a locked place, right? So that's because cold water, hot summer won't be a problem, as long as you're in the shade, and as long as it's locked safely, then there's no problem, right? So yeah, that's it. Very simple. So I'd like to reveal it to the general public, and you can test it yourself because it's very simple, very easy to do, and everybody who is willing, right, can do it, right? So yeah, good. Okay. So much for today, and we'll see you next time.